Hi there, in this video I will be showing you today your first steps, what you have to do to the sounds when you edit them. It means the moment when you finish recording them, you bring your recorder and you want to transfer them inside your digital audio workstation and starting do like little treatments, cleaning them, prepare them to the export and for the future projects. On top of that, I will show you some techniques how I'm using, plus introduce you to some interesting tools what I'm using basically to help me trimming my sounds and make them sounds clean and ready basically for the future project. And at the end of this video, I will be answer a couple of cool, interesting questions you guys leave in the comment in the previous video. One of them is about how I organize my sound, and the second one is basically how you treat your room and make your studio room on the budget and make it sound good with not spending crazy money. So that will be at the end of the video. So first thing, what you're gonna do when you're gonna open your digital workstation, make sure you're gonna do your settings in the workstation the same way how you set your recording when you record. It means I record at 96 kilohertz sample rate. It's me right here, I choose 96. And my bit rate, I choose 32 because I record 32 bit. It have to be correspondent to your recording session. That's gonna make sure you file will be sound identical exactly you're gonna get what you just record. So after when you do this thing, the next thing you will be go here and you will add audio track. Let's call this thing junkyard. This is when I record all the sounds and we have our first track. So what we do next, going and find the location where you export from your recorder all these files. It means I can go right here, import, and I have all my files right here when I drag in, and you see sample rates 96, bit rate sample 32 bit. It's perfect. I opening and I have all of them on the one track right here. Now, right in the beginning, you can tell, look at this, like right here, I can see we have spikes of the sound audio what I record. It means if I'm gonna play this, it's going on the red. It means files could be like distort or maybe have some kind of clipping or squash. So nothing to worry and no panic if you record something at 96, because 96 and 32-bit flat, it gives you so much headroom, then you can bring this file down levels and you stay gonna have perfect untouched signal. But if you're gonna record in 24-bit, not much you can do. You can bring the level down, but the squash of the file, the damage will be already done. It's baked in. Nothing what you can do. The only option will be just go try re-recording with the lower levels again. But with 32-bit, you have nothing to worry. So when we do this thing, look at this, what I can do right now. Go to the whole track and pretty much click right here, bring overall the value of the track. And if I'm gonna play right here, no more red, no more clipping, and the file is untouchable and it sounds exactly how that was recorded. It's nice and clean. Another way to control the files right now will be like, look at this. You like level of this file. This one have clean, but this one not. So you don't want to change the value, but you just want to bring value of this one because it's going in the red. You can use this little tool, rand selection. You can just select just this one file and clicking right here, you can bring just this one specific file down. Or we can go even more precise details when you can untouch this, and we can just select just the one file right here when we see the square box, when basically we don't like and it's definitely too loud, we'll be clipping. Basically you can highlight just this and we can just bring just this part down. So now when we can play back, no more. See, this is the same dynamics. And here, so we can prevent these files and it just sounds great. We eliminate the clicking. Now, another thing what I want to show is very interesting. Like right here, You see I have bunch of plugins plugged in already. They're in my track, actually they're in my master bus. I can activate them right now and they all will be doing something. The first one, the BX Reinforcement V3 from Brainworx, it's what it does. It's basically, it's eliminate the harshness of the sounds. And it's happened a lot of times when I'm in the junkyard and I'm recording like a lot of loud sounds, especially metal scrapes and other unwanted, like a very like disturbing sounds to my ears. The harshness will be basically eliminate automatically the harshness of the sound. Next, I'm using from the Oeksond Soothe2, and this I just leave in the factory preset and just let doing this thing because it's just magic. What it does, it's basically it's cutting out all this unwanted frequency, what does not belong to the sound, and try preserve the sound the most authentic way, but make the sounds clean, and again make sounds everything pleasant to your ear and sounds nice, so you enjoy this thing. It doesn't have the sound anymore, the effect when you take a chalk and the chalkboard you scrape and make you goosebumps. Pretty much this chain will be eliminate this factor, and you know when you're gonna have the sound and you're gonna send to somebody, it's gonna be pleasant and fun to listen and work to. The last plugin in my chain what I'm using is from Boom Library. It's Recenter, and I've been using this for years. What this plugin done, it's basically control for me balance of the recenter of the file of the, make sure the main weight of the sound is in the center and all the stereo images stay on the side. So it's mean like when you're recording with your stereo recorder, sometimes you can put a little bit of, or sometimes just a weird stuff happen to the sound that there's more weight of the sound on the right and the left sound. And when you play, the whole weight of the sound is moving one channel to other, and it just sounds weird, you know. So when you add this thing, it's basically, look at this, like right here example, you can tell like one side is stronger than the other one, and when you play this thing, you see how it's moving everything. It's moving this directly particles of the sound and keep them the main weight in the center, would stay keeping this all image on the side. So it's a really great tool to have, and this is the free plugins what I'm always using in my master chain effects, you know, when it's come basically to clean stuff and export. Now, when it's come to editing, there is few different ways how I edit my files. But the first thing what I can do is basically go to my split tool, make a file way bigger to me if I want to, and basically like right click right here. Basically we're doing a little trimming. Excuse me, right here, 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 and let's do here. The next thing, when I cut these files right now, this is pretty much my edit. Now, if I would just export them the way how they are right now, you will be here like the sharp edge of the cut when I cut this file at the end, and we don't want these things. So in order to eliminate these things, we're gonna use a little bit here fader, and basically you can fade slightly in, and we're gonna do same thing with the fade out. So it's basically, it's helping you with your files to make sure, you know, there's no sharp clipping, especially if you're gonna bring eventually the compression or any effects after the compressor or limiter will be pop out this sharp end, and it just sounds unpleasant, not good. So you don't want to do this thing. So it's very little trim, it's gonna prevent you from this thing. And again, the way when you finish this thing, you want to export these files right now. I usually export with this process, what I already have, without adding any additional discoloration to the sound, because I don't want to add any compressor. I will add this in the future videos and I will show you how we do it. But that's the way how I export files, and all I have to do right now is just click on the file, select go and export, and make sure I'm gonna go like junk one, and make sure again here my sample rate is 96 to read a bit flat, and click export, and the file is going directly to the folder what I select. Now, it's very important when you export all these files, make sure you're gonna store them in the one directions, and I usually keep them in the folder inside the subfolder when I call like original recording edit. It means this file have no change sample rates, no any reverb, delay, EQs, compressor, limiter, nothing. It's just the way how I record, except the file is clean for me. Another way, if you want to export all these files, but you don't want to go file after file after file and edit, it's a different thing. You can go right here, click, and go right here, and go to the render, set the render settings. You can select your location, and let's go like here. This is the folder, and right here I can choose complete signal patch. So in the future, if you're gonna have add compressor and anything other than, you can select all these effects and they will be export each individual file, with saving you time with all your master bus and all the effects what you have. Or in this case, I'm just gonna export with this clean process, and I can click right here, click render, and each and the individual file right now will be export, and it's ready for me save for the future for editing the way how I edit them in the store folder what I select. Now, another things when you wanna working with a lot of audio and you have like a lot of files to edit, like you see me recording in studio when I spend hours or 2 hours recording and my file is huge. So to going by and go like click after click and trying trimming, that will be very time consuming for me. So what I'm using this tool, going here, going to the advanced and the deck silence. And here I can set my threshold open and close, excuse me, to 25, minus 25, negative. And it's showing me right now I have 26 files. So perfect. So all I have to do, process, and look at this. All my files already edit. One is the silent, beginning, and the end. So if I go click right now, I have perfect edit of the file. So of course, you know, nothing is perfect. So sometimes if you hear like this, you can always trim a little bit and fade it. But I like using this technique a lot of times, or like here, little gap, because it's give me the option to very clean look at the recording session. And sometimes I can even extend more to the left side. And if there's actually little sound under, I like to keep this thing, because if I'm gonna do little fade in, it's actually creating this illusion to the sound, like the sound is built up. So you have this. So sometimes just go check if it's possible, extend, and keep this little thing before, because this is the all details what basically will be add the character to unique sound, you know. And I really believe all these details matter, and it's very important. Pay attention to this thing. So what you can do right now, same way, when you select them all, select them, go to the random place, render settings, and again, all this my process and the master bus right now. So all you have to do, render, and each on the individual files gonna go export, and that saved me so much time, and pretty much in no time I'm gonna have 200 or 300 sound effects ready to go. Now let's jump to the last thing, to the answering 2 questions. So the first question will be from Jen, and it's a bonjour Robert, thank you for your videos. I'm learning with them. I have a question. How do you manage your sound files so as to find them later? And to the sound, do you know how to transmit your love of sounds to children? So the way how I organize my sounds, I basically, when I'm in the recording session, I usually take a lot of pictures, and you see me, I always have videos. So most of the times I'm gonna store like a short clips of the videos and a lot of details, pictures of what I was recording inside the folder when I'm storing my original recording files and my process after sounds over there. And that's basically helped me in the future to matching the sound and the location to the project what I'm working on, maybe specific gear cars or the cars, or like the size of the rooms when I was recording, or the instruments when I was recording, where, which time of the year I was recording. There was rainy or sunny, snow, summer, and even the ocean waves, there was big or small waves. It helped me a lot when I see this thing. And I know after this sound is gonna matching this thing. So that's the way how I organize my sounds. The second question about the law of transmission to children. Guys, I have 2 kids. And because of that, I have a chance a lot of times to be invited by the daycares or the school, whatever the progress, and go and speak to the kids about what I do. So most of the times I can go and bring like a couple interesting toys, you know, instruments, what's making sounds like choo-choo whistle blower or like rain stick, and basically talk to kids about the sound and let them experiment the sound. But the most fun when they're starting getting is when I introduce them to the recorder and I have headphones. And of course, you know, you bring the volumes down when you put the headphones over the kids' ears and let them hear the sounds, what's coming to the mics. This is where you see like the jaws starting opening and they're getting so excited about this thing. And they just want everyone to hear the sounds immediately. So basically, this is how I spread my love. And you know what? If you love kids, kids will know this thing. Kids can notify person, you know, who love them, who know. And you know, you gotta have a little patience with kids, you know. And luckily, I do. I love kids, and I never have problems. So this is how I connect, translate, and even when I invite for the hour, I always wish there will be another hour, because I just enjoy spending time with them, showing and tell them about the sounds and let them experience their own way. So that will be the answer to your question. The second question came for Fifer Rice, and there was like, I love your videos, Robert. I would love to hear about room treatment for low budget starters professional. So I did my studio very under budget, you know. The room is about the garage and there was nothing here. It's mean I start everything from the ground. So when we put all the sheetrock, everything, hardwood floor, the first thing what I bring to my studio was big couch, what's gonna absorb a lot of bass, and I put like rug, so it absorbs a lot of bouncing from ceilings. On top there, we built like a sound panels, and basically I did my research online and I find a special foam what they're using for building these panels when they're selling after online, and basically I order them, and with my uncle together we build the frames and put over fabrics, and we screw them some part of the ceilings, whatever was necessary, to the walls behind me, so basically eliminate this bouncing. And this helped me treat the room the way so I don't hear the ping pong effect when you clap your hands or any sounds coming. But on top of this, I'm using Brainworx software, and I use this for years. I'm a big fan of this thing. So the software comes with a special measurement microphone, when basically you can place this like in the position when you're sitting, like right here on the stand, and you're starting playing weird sounds from your speakers, and the software will show you change the position of the mic so you can move the microphone and keep playing the sounds. And after this, it's starting calculating all the sounds how it's bouncing in your room, and after this it's built to your profile for your speakers, and it's on my channel. And when I listen anything after, it's come with the room correction, so no matter what I listen, no matter where I sit in my room, it sounds perfect. So I would strongly recommend you to check Brainworx. And guys, anything what I show you today is linked below in the bio, and you can just go and check this thing. But this is definitely very important. And another thing, if you don't have like money for like big room and special monitors or anything, you can do this like in the good headphones, and Brainworx come with the like headphones profiles for different headphones, like from Sennheiser, Buyers, Olo Audio, Sony, you name it, Audio Technica, any major brand headphones, the in over there, and you can choose profile of the headphones, analyze your room, and your sound's gonna be just perfect in your headphones. So enjoy. So this is how I treat my room. All right, guys, so that's it what I have for you for today. Thank you again, and once again I'm asking you to leave your comment below what you think about video, if you have any questions, what you'd like to see, and I will try pick up again 2 good questions and just answer them at the end of the next video. Until that, thank you so much for watching. Have fun with the sound, exploring the sound designing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.